Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, I can hear you. Good evening.
Perfect. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good, thank you. It's good
Wow,
to be
good.
here.
Good to have yeah. Good to meet you too. Good to have you here. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming in. Really means a lot to us.
hmm It's a pleasure.
I think I can also see Wisdom Williams.
Okay.
Wisdom.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Sure,
Yes.
sure, sure.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. But we can't see you. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yeah. I'm going to be starting my camera now. Just give me a bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. We're supposed to be starting by exactly. Okay. That's good. Hello, Wisdom.
Yes. I hope you can see me now. Can you see me?
Sure, we can.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Can see how good looking you're looking.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to be here as well. I'm really glad to be here. So I hope that we're going to have an amazing 1 hour.
Yeah, I hope so too. I surely hope so too. Surely hope so too. So, yeah. Because of time factor, it's already 4 o'clock. So I think we should just start because I mean we have just 1 hour. So I mean the number of persons we have here could always learn from the wealth of experiences we are going to share over the course of the 1 hour we have right now. So whoever that wants to join in can join in whenever he or she wants. So we're going to start right away. So good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Chinonso Christian Odebat, and I'm going to be the moderator for this event today. And of course, this is specifically designed for aspirants who are looking for Chevening Scholarship, who are really interested in winning Chevening Scholarship to go to the UK for their master's program. So this program is designed to give you guys the necessary information required. I know some persons must have written their essays, have done so many things right now. I mean, the deadline is fast approaching. So I believe, so for some of them, it's just an eye opener. For some, it's just to, give them the overview of how to tie together what is left of the application so that they would go on and win the scholarship, hopefully. So, and we have two panelists, two very powerful panelists who will be participating in this program today. And of course, they are all Chevening alumnus, and I will give them the audience to introduce themselves one after the other. So we'll be starting with Boso. Boso, please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your academic background, when you won Chevening Scholarship, and probably what you're currently doing now? Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. My name is Borso. I'm calling from Dakar now, and I was at the University of Glasgow as a Chevening Scholar. Excuse me. I'm just realizing that my phone, yeah, fully charged, perfect, is charging now. And I was at the University of Glasgow in 2017-2018 cohort. And I had the privilege of studying equality and human rights. So I'm a social activist, a human rights, very passionate about human rights. I'm a social worker at the base. I also teach at the University of Glasgow, of Glasgow, hopefully one day, of Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar as a PhD candidate. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm also a freelancer. I am into journalism and I do write for the Washington Post as contributor.
Wow, that's really an impressive profile, to be honest. I mean, what better panelists could we actually get for this program if not you? You have a very, very great profile, and we're happy to have you around to come and share from your wealth of experience with some of the applicants who are looking to winning the Chevening Scholarship as well. So we'll be going to Wisdom. Wisdom, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, the school you attended for your Chevening Scholarship, and what you're currently doing now? Just a brief information about you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm happy to see Bosso here. I know she's going to be my senior on the Chevening Scholarship. Okay, my name is Wisdom Anete Williams. I've just finished my Chevening program. So I just finished in September. I was selected for the Chevening Scholarship to study green chemistry and sustainable industrial technology. That's a long name, but as it sounds, it shows you that I'm a very, very passionate environmental activist, someone who has been so passionate about saving the planet, saving the environment. And I think that the work that I've done in Nigeria was one of the things that earned me the Chevening Scholarship. And as I said, I just finished my master's. I hold a bachelor's degree from Nigeria, the Ahmadu Bello University. I studied chemistry there, BSc, and then have just finished my master's program as well.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wisdom. That's really impressive coming from you. We're really proud to have you in our midst to come and share from your wealth of experience. I mean, you mentioned you did green chemistry and sustainable technology. I mean, it's quite long. I believe it's very, 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 very good course. So looking at your background from chemistry. So we'll dive straight into why we are here. Because I know so many people have been making applications for Chevening Scholarship. A lot of people have been, going to contacting mentors, looking for guidance on how to actually win this scholarship. So my first question will be, what are the most likely mistakes that scholars usually make when they are making applications to Chevening Scholarship? I'll probably be starting with Bosso. Can you tell us what are the mistakes that you think candidates can avoid in order not to be one of those people that will be thrown away from scholarship interview? Like, I know there are several processes. So what do you think are the likely mistakes candidates can make?
Well, I'll tell you this. I probably did not even follow everything that I was supposed to follow in the process. So I will be just very honest with you. Ideally, I think from what I heard of my other friends, is that before you even go to the interview level, you pass the first part to get to the interview, you need to have, that's one of the things that struck me, you need to be ready for the university. You already have a university of your choice. You already have probably contacted the university and gotten responses from them, even if it's just a not the final decision, but at least you got a feedback from the university informing you that there are chances of getting admitted, things that you need to do, etc. At least you have to have that luggage to go to the interview and share. That was not my case. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I need to tell Cheveners or potential Cheveners that it's not a straight line that you have to follow. You have to be yourself and be true to who you are in order to stand out of the crowd. So for me, for example, I was at the hospital with my mother for 1 month, and I could not afford to apply properly the way I was supposed to do it. I remember the first time that I tried to open the University of Glasgow platform. It was in a restaurant nearby the hospital, and it was so much information for me that I just shut the computer and I just went back to the hospital to spend the night with my mom. It was too much for me. So what I did was that when I had the chance to apply, I applied. When I went, I know I'm skipping the whole writing process to get to that interview, but I'm just starting with the interview part so people know that, it's not a straight path. It's an individual path, and every person has their own background. Every person has their own way of pursuing this dream of becoming a Chevener. And I remember going to this meeting without a university choice. And when I was asked, yes, I'm not saying do it, but I will be honest with you guys. So when I went there and I did not have my university of choice, one thing though I had was my determination to explain where I was going and why I wanted to go there. And when they asked me, but how do you know that you're going to be accepted? I said, I know that I will be accepted because I put my energy into it. That's it. Okay. I was convinced that the University of Glasgow was going to get me. The reason is the chance that you're given with the Chevening is that you have to make your own choices when selecting the university and selecting the courses that you want. You have no influence whatsoever, and you're free to do what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to pursue. I wanted to pursue human rights, but not a law-based human rights course. And the University of Glasgow was one of the rarest ones in the UK to give me that opportunity of pursuing a human rights education. Course is called Equality Humanity, and it was not fully related to law. So it was not an LLM, it was just a master's degree of equality and human rights, and it was mostly social sciences. And with that as a reason, I fought myself through. I told everyone that the University of Glasgow was going to accept me, and I fought my way through. So I will not say it's a straight path. We can sit here and share ideas, but to each their own dream, to each their own understanding of what they want to do, and to each their own path. Embrace your path, acknowledge what you want to do, and fight for it. And that's how you will stand out of the crowd, because it's what? Wisdom, how many were you this year? Out of what, 50,000, how many were you of candidates this evening?
I think in our year we had a lot. I can't remember the number of applicants, but the acceptance rate is 1.5%.
Yes, it's thousands and thousands of candidates, and they just take a portion. So in order to be part of that portion, you have to stand for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bosso, for that wonderful information. I mean, obviously, you just need to have that strong determination to identify what you really want, and then not just apply. Just because everybody is applying for scholarship. So my next question will be to Wisdom. I mean, I know you're supposed to choose like 3 courses for Chevening Scholarship before you actually apply for the scholarship. So I don't know, do you think you're supposed to choose one course from 3 different universities, or you can just choose different courses for 3 different universities? Like, what is it for you during your own?
All right, thank you so much for that question. But before I dive into your question, let me just say a bit of 1 or 2 things from what Bosso said on why people do not really win the scholarship. I think that one thing that people do not get to do effectively is they do not endeavor to research. One of the things that Chevening Scholarship is about research. Like, you're supposed to be able to research, be able to do things for yourself. If you come over to the UK, the academic experience that the UK gives to you is an independent kind of experience that you should be able to do something for yourself. So, and I think Chevening as a whole prepared me for that process. I won Chevening Scholarship on my 3rd attempt, and I know that one of the things that helped me going forward in my 3rd attempt was just my ability to just find information for myself. If you want to begin to contact, if you just hear about Chevening and want to begin to contact scholars or alumni, no matter what they do for you, you will not still get it. If you don't have the ability to, what do I really want to do? And how will the Chevening Scholarship help me? What is the Chevening Scholarship about? What is the Chevening Scholarship about, and how do I fit in? I think the question should not be why should I get selected for Chevening. The question should be, why should Chevening have me on their program? Chevening is about potential leaders. Chevening is about aspiring young leaders, and so the question should be, why do these people want me on their network?
Wisdom. Go on.
Yeah, so just moving from that, now let me just attempt to answer the question that you asked me. About selecting universities, I think, like I was saying before, Chevening wants people. There are 2 things that I think Chevening is looking for in people. Chevening is looking for potential leaders. So it does not necessarily mean that you have to be an accomplished person, or I must be the president of Nigeria before I apply. They're looking for people who have potential to be leaders, and then they're looking for people who have a clear aspiration, like you have an idea of where you want to be, and you have a clear track pathway of how you hope to achieve what you want to achieve. I think those are the basic 2 qualities that Chevening is looking for, and they're trying to look for those things in the essays that you write. All right, so in selecting your essay, you don't want to portray yourself. In selecting your courses, you don't want to portray yourself as somebody who has no clear idea of where they are going. Like Boso mentioned, you see that Boso she had an idea, oh, I wanted to do a human rights person, but not in the law. Some people, just because they saw human rights, oh, this is the selling course, now I want to become a human rights person. And you don't win Chevening like that.
Yes.
Like, you understand? You don't win Chevening like that. People ask me, like, how was I able to win the Chevening Scholarship with the program that I'm studying? Because you don't get to see everybody. What you see is human rights, you see health professionals, public health, and all of those things, especially from Nigeria, winning the program. But people will ask you, so it's your ability to demonstrate that, okay, this is what I want to be, and this is the courses that will help me to achieve what I want to achieve. And that's very, very important. So you should not, I would just advise people here that you do not have to begin to say, I want to pick this program, and this program. No, all your programs should be interconnected. They should be related. If they can be from the same university, but you must ensure that, okay, they are actually related. So the best advice I would give is that you might not be able to find those programs within the same university. What most people that won the Chevening Scholarship had to do was pick similar programs but from 3 different universities. Now, this will help you because you don't have 1,000 words or 5,000 words to write an essay. You have only 500 words to elaborate on your passion and your interest. So if you begin to talk about everything and begin to talk about different things, you might not be able to convincingly explain yourself to the people that are reading you. So very importantly, don't dabble into so many things. Just think about what exactly you want to do and then pick courses that will help you going forward and achieving that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Wisdom. I mean, you guys have heard him all. I mean, he said you are expected to pick a particular course, probably in 3 different universities, probably the same course, or maybe something that is slightly similar to what you intend to study, because that will give you a little bit of words to write your essay exhaustively when you're writing on studying in the UK.
Yes, but so before you finish, let me just add something here. That this is my opinion. If you go to the Chevening website, the Chevening website says you can pick different courses from the same. So it's not like they actually limit you. I'm saying that for your own, for you to stand in a better place, you should not begin to dabble around. No, it will not help you. You should, because Chevening will tell you can pick, if you go to the frequently asked questions page, they will tell you that you can pick different courses from different universities and all. They will tell you that, but that would not help your application. So I'm speaking to people here now that based on my experience and based on people that I've interacted with, you should not be dabbling into different courses. I want to do an LLM in law, I want to study green chemistry in this course, I want to do this. No, you should be focused and you should just think about the courses that you want and which universities will help you achieve that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Wisdom, for that wonderful addition. It's really clear now. Try to make sure you're focused in the course you select for your Chevening application, and keep it simple. Don't take so many courses, and at the end of the day, you'll be lacking words to actually express yourself and tell them why you really want to do those courses. So thank you so much, Wisdom, for that information. Now, moving on to the essays, what do you think actually makes your essay stand out? There are 4 really strong essays you're expected to write if you really want to win the Chevening Scholarship. I'm talking about the leadership essays, the networking essays, the study in the UK essays, and the career plan essay. So let's start with the first one, leadership essay. What do you think makes your essay stand out when you applied for Chevening? We'll be starting with Boso.
Well, just like Wisdom, and we both said the same thing. I think your essay should reflect who you are. The essay should reflect how you feel, how passionate you are about what you want to do. And where do you see yourself in the field of your interest in the years to come? And also when we say leadership, I always say to people, young people, because I have a youth network. It's the Young Advocates for Human Rights Network that we discussed. Leadership is not always about being that very upfront person. It's not always about that. Leadership is about being not only upfront, but also being able to push people forward. And if you're able in writing to describe how you've managed to experience both positions, how much a leader you are.
Okay,
and not be ashamed of the failures. What they call failure is not failure. It's about preparing you for a much better position on the ladder of success, whatever success is to you. And whatever success means, really, really, to me, it means the ability to be able to serve effectively and to be able to have an impact in the lives of others. So when you write about your leadership, I remember in on my essay, I you know, like I told you, the conditions under which I wrote them, and the Chevening did not even know that I was, you know, I was at the hospital when I was writing that. They did not even know. I just did like everybody else. I went to the meeting, defended my part, and then that was it, you know. So no one knew. It's afterwards that I talked about my personal feeling and experience during that time. But just to come back to the essay part, the essay should not be a very short 5-6 sentences that we always see when we write papers. That's not what it is. It's not about listing what you've done. It's about listing, yes, and sharing how you felt in the process. Because that's what makes you the human being you are. That's what makes you the leader you are. That's what makes you the person you are. And that's what tells people, okay, is this person going to be able to impact positively in the long term? Or is it just the idea of joining a network? It's just not about joining a network. It's about being able to contribute to the development of that network at many levels. So it's a multi-dimensional aspect of it. At the international level, you're part of a community as a leader. At the national level, where you're from, you need to have that impact. And at a personal level, what you're able to share with others. So in your essay, all those parts should be reflected. And at the end of the day, like I said, it should be read and understood as, wow, this is Borso. I haven't met her yet, but I want to meet her.
Okay. Thank you so much also. Thank you. That was really insightful. I really enjoyed the conversation and, you know, your idea about, you know, being yourself when you're writing your leadership essay, and not just talking about how you led, but also how you were able to influence other people and motivate them to achieve their goals and all that. So
Yes.
I know in most part of the essay writings, especially the leadership essays, a lot of people have talked about using the star L approach, you know, highlighting the situation, also highlighting the task you did in your leadership essays, the actions you took, the results, and then the lessons you learned from that. So I don't know if that works for any of you, because I've come across so many people have asked me questions related to this. So many people have asked even questions on the group as well, where we belong, talking about the star L approach. Like, I know you have to highlight maybe the situation, paint a situation, how you were able to, you know, use your specific actions or role to achieve those situations. So what do you have to say about that? I'll be asking Wisdom, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going to add from what Boso said, and I was going to talk specifically about the STAR approach. And like I said initially, I won Chevening in my third application, and I think that one of the basic things that helped me in my third application was understanding what the STAR approach is. Some people call it the STAR L, like you said. But as of the time I was writing my essays, I actually understood it as the STAR approach, which is the situation, task, action, results. And I think that for anybody, it helps you to tell your stories. And going forward, that has helped me in the way I write essays, in the way I write personal statements, in the way I even approach interviews as well. The STAR approach is very, very, very important. So I wanted to still follow up from that to say, like, leadership is not about holding positions. I think Boso mentioned something about it. It's about the skills you demonstrated in whatever capacity that you had. So you don't begin to get discouraged and say, oh, I've not founded a non-governmental organization yet, or I've not become the president of my country, so I'm not qualified for Chevening. Chevening Scholarship is not looking for people who have accomplished. They're not looking for accomplished people. They're looking for people who are doing basic things to meet communal needs. So be able to elaborate on your skills. Remember the question says they're looking for potential leaders and influencers. Explain how you meet this requirement. Be able to state your skills while you tell your story. Begin to state your skills. For example, I was able to state the skills that I had I had the ability to demonstrate, delegate. I had the ability to delegate responsibilities to people. I had the ability to inspire people into communal action. And also, if you said you had those skills, now tell a story about 2 times, 3 times that you demonstrated. I think that's just basically what the leadership essay is looking for. So, like you said, the STAR approach is very, very important. I'm not sure you can succeed in winning the Chevening Scholarship if you don't approach the essays that way. For the leadership and the networking essay, you must use the STAR approach very, very effectively to your advantage. In terms of what situation, when you are writing the essay, picture the situation in your mind. Oh, there were 5,000 people who were sick as a result of the lack of access to clean water. Now, when you study that essay, for example, some people might go to a community and just found that, oh, people do not have access to clean water, and then they dug a borehole for them, and then, of course, water came. That's a very huge project, but somebody can now say, oh, I constructed a borehole for a community. That's a massive project, but it doesn't create that impact. When you're writing a Chevening essay, you must write it as an impact statement. When you identify the situation, I went to a community, I identified that there was no access to clean water. So as a result, a lot of people were falling ill from that situation, and did not, that kind of visiting the health centers and all of that. So the health centers were very, very overcrowded. Maybe you might even attach a personal situation. For example, if you had a situation where you had lost a loved one as a result of typhoid or something, you can just, oh, and then even one of my close relatives felt sick. So I saw this as a very important place for me to, that's the situation. Like, that's what the situation means. Situation is just about the context of everything. In the year, you might want to include the year that it happened, the place and all. Then what's the task is like, what did you decide to do as a result of the situation that you have identified? Then you now talk about the action. Okay, I inspired people to begin to speak to community members that would donate money because we didn't have money. I, as a result, wrote letters to the governor. I'm just giving that example. That's just a vague example I'm giving. Then what was the result? Now, when you elaborate on the result, you have to connect the result to the situation you pointed out. I was reviewing some essays recently, and I saw that's the mistake a lot of people are doing. They've heard about the STAR approach, but they're not using it effectively. Your result must be connected to the situation you pointed out. So if the situation was people were dying from health, what was the result? I conducted a survey eventually and saw that the health situation had improved in that community by maybe 20%, by 30%, and all of that. So that STAR approach is very, very important. It's really, really important to write your essay. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wisdom. Please, before I continue, can you please mute your mic? I mean, we're hearing so much noise from the background, and it's not really encouraging. I mean, when panelists are speaking, trying to give, share from their wealth of experiences, we're receiving so much interference. Please mute yourself. Thank you so much, Wisdom. So from summary of what Wisdom said, you are expected to use the STAR approach effectively, especially on your leadership and the networking essay, and then try as much as possible to paint a situation and connect your results to the situation and probably the lesson you've learned from that. So that's very powerful coming from Wisdom. Thank you so much, Wisdom. Looking at the questions from the chat box, a lot of people have been posting questions, and one of their questions are, can you use a university admission you got last year for Chevening application this year? So I don't know if any of you experienced that that kind of scenario. Also, over to you.
Well, I only applied once and I got accepted that once. So it's not a personal experience. However, I would advise that they keep contact with the university and probably see if they can get an update letter, admission, or an update situation of what it is for them, and also keep in touch with the Chevening officers and see if that can be accepted. I think communication all the way through will help them.
Okay. Okay, that's really good.
You don't need to go that long way. She doesn't have the experience I can see. So, if you apply this year and did not get the scholarship or any scholarship to fund your this thing, because, for example, you're not going to be applying to only Chevening. I'm sure maybe the people that are here are aspiring young people. So if you're aspiring to do something in the future, I'm sure that you're not focusing on applying to Chevening alone. You are focusing on applying to other scholarships. So it means that you have a lot of admissions. You don't want to be going about applying for admissions all over again. So you should begin to think about, immediately you see you don't have funding, contact the university, tell them that, please, I need this space reserved. I've not been able to get funding this year, but I hope to get funding next year. So you just have to write that. For example, the university I came to, eventually. I got the admission the previous year. On my second application for Chevening, I got the admission, but I sent them an email and said, see, I couldn't get funding this year, please keep my space next year. And they did that for me. The people here, don't be afraid of sending emails to universities. The people here are different from the people who have back. Sorry, let me not quote them. So don't be afraid of sending emails to university. No, they respond to emails. So just send them an email and say, I've not been able to get funding this year. They will understand with you and they will keep your space, especially if you had an impressive application the previous year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Williams. Thank you so much. That was really a good one. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to be true to what you apply to. Even if the course has been, you didn't get a scholarship that year, if it's possible, try and defer the admission and use it for the next scholarship application. The good thing about UK is that they are very good with response to email and even calls as well. Like, I know at one point in my case, I was able to call them personally and they spoke, connected with them and chat, talk to them about my problem. So don't be afraid to call them. Don't be afraid to email them and ask your specific questions. They are always ready to respond to those questions. So thank you. Moving on, I know so many people, looking at your profile, obviously you guys have a very massive profile, talking about leadership and networking skills. And what of someone who just graduated from the university and somehow, looking at his profile from the university, he had led in so many aspects, worked in so many scenarios, because I know for Chevening, you were expected to have at least 2 years of work experience. And for some persons, they think that our work experience starts from when you finish your undergraduate study. So do you think someone who actually graduated but have done like about 2 years of work experience while doing his or her BSc stand a chance of winning the Chevening Scholarship? I'll be asking Wisdom.
So I wanted to say, like, I just got an email from a professor that referenced me in doing my training application, was saying that his relative wanted to apply. She was on the youth service, and I passionately encouraged him that he should encourage his daughter to apply. People have won the Chevening Scholarship on their NYSC. I think that was one of the mistakes I made, because as much as right from when I was younger, in my days in university and after, I was so passionate about communal impact. I joined societies and all of that. But when somebody informed me of the Chevening Scholarship, I never knew that I could apply. When I went on the website, I saw you must have 2 years of work experience. I think I closed it and went and came back after my NYSC. I regretted having making that decision, because it meant I had to stay another 3 years. Maybe if I started the application at that time, I would have gotten it a bit early. Okay, so you do not need, the experiences must not be post-study. That's the mistake people make. Your experiences must not be post-study. It must not be post-study. When they say work experience, it's not a post-study experience. I know somebody who wrote experiences about before she even entered the university. The time she was waiting at home to get admission to the university, she engaged in, was it teaching or something? She wrote it as an experience. So please, it's not post-study experience. Freelancing, when you were staying at home, just working from home over the internet and all, counts as work experience. Volunteering counts as work experience. All of those things count as work experience. It must not be, I worked in a structured company or I worked in a structured industry. All of that is not, those things are not necessarily the work experience they are looking for. That's very, very important. And I wanted to say here that another mistake people make, I wanted to mention it initially when you asked the question, is when they calculate the hours of work experience. I've seen people who are really eligible for the Chevening Scholarship, but yet do not cross the eligibility criteria because of the work experience calculation. I'm just going to explain this. In my case, I was working professionally in my professional work, and then I was so much actively involved in volunteering. I was holding a position in a reputable youth-led organization. So what did I do in my case? I had to calculate, because the Chevening work experience hours calculation does not give you more than it actually triggers something if you put in things that are not how do I put it now, that do not look realistic. So please, when you calculate the work experience, whether you are doing more than one thing at the same time, try to factor in the 40 hours per week calculation. Ensure that, okay, you are putting realizable hours. If you are doing two things at the same time, you don't want to put an application where you are spending 70 hours a week working, for example. A friend of mine was writing the Chevening essays and sent me his leadership essay, and it was like that he was volunteering, and then he got young people who were engaging and dedicating 10 hours of their week every day to teach other people. I said, oh God, this is not true. Because even by me reading it, It's not true. How can you say people are volunteering and keeping their 10 hours? You're trying to impress the panelists, you're trying to impress the assessors, but you don't have people that really have sense. You now see they're spending 10 hours every day volunteering. You don't have what they're doing and what else they're doing, those kind of things. So I think that I've said so many, because we have the tutor, I've said so many things, but let me just allow Buso to continue from where I stopped.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I've gotten so much questions from that particular question. I've received so much complaints about that particular question. Am I expected to apply to Chevening Scholarship? Probably when I had 2 years post-study experience. And thank you for clarifying that. Obviously, it is clear now that you can use even the experience you had while waiting at home for admission. I know some persons stay like 2 years at home, and of course they were working or doing some jobs or even volunteering in so many facilities. Those experiences do count, and just try as much as possible to bring them into your explanation of how you were able to make the work experience aspect of Chevening application. So moving on to the next questions. Is there a particular university you're expected to apply for admission? Because I know some persons ask on the chat box if there's a particular university you're expected to apply to. If Chevening, talking about Chevening partnering universities, are you solely expected to apply to those universities, or can you just go wide and apply to as many universities that you think that meets your criteria as possible? And then in addition to that, do you think you can apply to how many of these, if you're talking about the courses, how does it relate to what you guys apply to during your own time? So my question is, how many universities can you, not how many universities, rather, how many of these universities that you've applied before, if they kind of had that partnership with Chevening, and how do you think that can be addressed in terms of the application? I'll be asking Boso.
Okay, so there is a list when you go to the platform, just like Wisdom said on the website. There's a list of universities every single year. It's updated either with the same number of universities or with new ones who are partners. So Chevening has been partnering with universities since 1983. So it's been decades now since they've been partnering with universities. So there are a lot of universities, and I'm sure that when you look for something, you will find what you want on that list. However, if you find something that is not part of what those universities offer, there is a possibility, if you know exactly what you want and you have found the university that offers you just that, and you already talked to the university and you know that there's a chance for them to be interested in partnering with Chevening, you are allowed to write an email and inform Chevening about this newfound university and see what they say. I don't know what Wisdom will have to say about that, but I think the process allows, if you find a university that's not part of the list and you want to be like a student in that university, and time allows you, which means there needs to be a time for preparation. So research first and then preparation. If you find that university and there is a chance of partnership, I do not think Chevening will stop you from being a part of the network using that university. Once they agree, once they have an MOU about, that university being part of the list of the partners of the international scholarship. So again, if you find something that you truly want, and you find the university among the list of those partners already with the Chevening network, fine. If you don't find it and you find another one, you are free to contact that university. You are free to, elaborate the idea of partnership and share it with Chevening, and then see how the process will go. If they accept, sometimes it may take more than a year, but you just do not give up if that's what you want to do. I don't know what Wisdom has to say about that.
Okay, let me just quickly, before Chinonso will come in, let me just quickly say, I think that the experience you're talking about is different. The one that we're talking, I'm sure the person is asking from, is from the fact that there are universities in the UK that contributes 20% onto your scholarship. My university allows that. So Yeah, so they are investors in the UK. These are Chevening partner investors, so they contribute 20% onto your scholarship. Chevening will say on their website that you should not have to apply to those investors. But for my opinion as well, for my experience as well, I'm advising and encouraging everyone, at least make those investors your first choice. Because you stand a better chance. They will not tell you, Chevening will not tell you, but I'm telling you that you stand, because you want to see, this is just common sense. You want to just think that the investor that is funding up to 20% of your scholarship will definitely put you in a better place to somebody that is applying to a different investors and does not have that contribution. So when my award letter came, they stated your university is funding this amount, Chevening is funding this amount. It was stated on the letter, on the award letter. So please go to the Chevening website. The UK university is very broad, so most investors do most things. So if you know the course you want to study, just go and look for those partner investors that are having those courses, and then make them your first choice. That's my advice. Just make it your first choice. Now, one thing with the courses is that when you go to the interview, you have the opportunity to change your courses. Yeah, people don't know this. So you can also change your courses. So a lot of people change their courses at the point of interview. So it must not be that you must stick with the courses that you have started with now. So, but at the point of application, please and please make the first choice, your first choice investors, make sure that they are Chevening partners. It's not the Chevening experience. Let me state it again. It's my own personal opinion, so that you don't begin to say this is not what Chevening say, and this is what Chevening said on their website. This is what this person is saying. This is my own opinion. I'm stating it again, so you don't hold me accountable on this. This is my own opinion. Yeah, this is my opinion, and then you should not make that. Yeah, thank you. I have to state that very clearly, but so you know what it means now.
I agree. I understand.
Thank you so much, Wisdom. Thank you so much for that eye opener. So you guys, you've heard him. You really need to make sure that you apply to universities that partner with Chevening, because at some point, those universities have a token to pay a contribution to your tuition fee. So you don't want to apply to a university, for example, that is paying up to about £20,000 as tuition fee, and then the university is not contributing a dime. It will be very difficult for you to fund that scholarship. So try as much as possible to apply to universities that are specifically partnering with Chevening, and that will increase your chances of securing the scholarship. So thank you so much, Wisdom. Moving on to the next question. Do you think having a very, very good grade, for example, I know, Wisdom, you made a first class and in your undergrad, and then I know some persons who obviously joined the meeting might be 2-1 candidates. Do you think having 2-1 increases your chances of securing the scholarship? I'll be asking Boso this time around.
Well, it's a very, like I said, it's not a straight line. You may be top of your class. It is actually, recommended. Again, when I say stand out of the crowd, being top of your class is part of it. If you can be top of your class in your undergrad, top of your class in one of the chances you have to do another master's, whatever it is, there may be higher chances for you to be accepted if you are recognized as a huge contribution to your university academically, social, community service, like Wisdom was saying, etc., etc. However, I personally do not believe that what matters most is that first class as part of a Chevening Scholar. I personally do not believe it, because you may have other terms in your background that makes you stand out and makes you be a part of a various, like an international network. Not all of us are like extremely good students. Some of us may have an extremely great background when it comes to, work, when it comes to community service, when it comes to finding something, when it comes to discovering something, or even creating something. So it's not, again, like a straight path. But when we just consider the basic, like question, the way you describe it, yes, being top of your class or being at least part of the 2% or 5% is important. But in my own opinion, I do not think it's mandatory. It's not. It's who you are. If you're able to describe it, if you're able to stand for it, and if you're able to know where you want to go with it. If you have a 85% out of your grades, 75% out of your grades, obviously, I think what matters, and even this year, I think it's changed. I don't know, Wisdom, are they taking the English tests? Or do they take the English test this year for the scholarship? Not anymore. Okay. So you know that means, okay, so it means that you have to be able to present yourself. You have to be able to present your dream in English, whether you take that test or not. So if you're able to defend it, it's not about the grade that you have. And that's, again, me. That's my really personal opinion. I do not believe that what determines a Chevening scholar, what determines a leader, is based on the grades. It's based on the person, the background, and the vision that you have about what you want to do. And if that's clear, next to a 75%, I think you have chances of passing.
All right. Thank you so much, Boso, for that information. Thank you so much. So, guys, it's not your grade that determines. It's about what you have to offer. Your leadership skills, your networking skills, and about all your person. You in general, not just about having the first class. You can have all the first class, and at the end of the day, you still won't be able to get a scholarship. So building on that particular thing, I know for Chevening, to be honest, I know the selection is based exclusively on, I think for me personally, I'm thinking it's more like 70% dependent on the quality of the essay you put in, right? So it's more like the essay you put in the application. And then I've gotten some questions from the chat box, and people are asking, for the leadership and networking essays, do you just give one example? I mean, what is it for you guys? Do you guys give like about 2 or 3 examples to express how you were able to lead your group, or how you were able to network and influence people as well to take action? So what is it for you, Williams?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I'm going to dive into the question now, but I saw somebody asked about, maybe the person didn't understand what I said about 10 hours of work experience initially. Let me just quickly say that I was talking about volunteering in this situation. The person was talking about volunteering for 10 hours every day. I told him that it did not sound realistic. So I was just trying to point out that situation, that as you try to write your essays, don't exaggerate too much. Think about things that are realistic, like things that you really do and people can connect with. That's exactly the point I was making. So if you're working 10 hours every day, of course, go ahead and write that you're working 10 hours every day. That means that's like 50 hours. 10 hours is what? So just do the calculations correctly. That's exactly what I'm saying there on that. So concerning the question that you asked me, I would say that there are different ways of writing your essays. The first 2 essays particularly, the approach I used was I took three different leadership situations. I took 3 different leadership situations. I took a situation I had in 3 different places and then wrote it as the essays. Okay, these were the skills I have, these are the leadership skills I have, and these are the situations where I've demonstrated those skills. Very important. So people pick one situation. In that situation, it might be a very strong situation, but then they have different leadership experience within that. I don't know if you understand what I mean here. So you can pick just one situation. So I'm not saying give one example. Remember, Chevening says using clear examples. It's not using a clear example. Understand the question there. He said using clear examples, not using a clear example. So you must be able to show that, okay, in 2 or 3 examples is a plural word. That means you must have more than 2 experiences, 2 or more experiences. So some people would just one situation and then talk about their leadership experience within this situation, within the same situation, and then it fills up the 500-word essays. But that was not my own case. In my own case, I picked 3 different examples, ensured that I use the STAR approach, and then follow those streams through. Very, very important. I want to say here that the mistake people make, I forgot to mention it again, is that the whole essays are just one essay. Some people approach it as 4 different essays, so they'll write this one and keep it. They'll write this one and keep it. The whole essay are just one essay. So you should see it as that there have to be a connection. When you start writing the leadership, that's the first essay, write it with the career plan in mind. For example, I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but I'm just trying to paint a picture where somebody will read you at the beginning and say, this person has done this thing in the past because they are passionate about this thing. This is what they want to do in the future. And there's kind of a link. It's not like because you want to pursue gender advocacy in the university, you now begin to lie, direct and distributed part in your leadership, or you distributed this. No, it's about connecting, that saying, okay, you know that this is my clear aspiration, this is the career track I want to take, and then demonstrating that, okay, you have demonstrated leadership, you have demonstrated capacity, and then of course having that connection to say this person is very, very clear and concise, and I've done some certain sort of things in the past. So don't stick to one example. That's my point. You don't use one example. Use at least 2 examples in your leadership essay and networking essay. Use at least 2 examples. I use 3 in mine, but you should use at least 2. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that exposition. The hallmark of the whole summary is that try not to use one example. I mean, in the statement, they said clear examples, which means you need to use more than one example. It's a plural form. So don't ever use one example because that would not, that would make you rank low when you're being compared to other candidates as well. So looking
May I
at
add something just very quickly? May I add something? I think it's very important, sorry, it's very important for the candidate to choose examples that speaks the most to them and which they remember, the one that had the most impact on them. Because not only are you able to write your essay, it will flow based on your remembrance and your experience and how much it impacted you and how much it impacted others. It will also allow you, when you get to the next phase of interviews, to remember what you put on that essay.
Yeah.
Because what a terrible thing to go to an interview and forget about what you say is a leadership experience. So you have to be careful with that. It's real life. You know, Wisdom, you know what I'm talking about. It's real life. Do not go out there and write an essay just to impress people. Write something that you remember because you truly experienced it.
Yeah.
When you speak, the passion will come out and you will understand that the person in front of you understands that this mattered to you the most and to others.
Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution, Bose. I think most times people do not understand that it doesn't end from just being nominated for the interview. Of course, you need to go out there and also convince them that you are the right candidate for that position. And obviously, it's based on what you've written down that you're going to build upon. And there's one thing about passion; it comes naturally. And once you're writing on something you are passionate about, something you know. Of course, there's no way you're going to speak from the heart and not just because of what you've written down or from the information you've given. So thank you so much, Boso, for that contribution. My next question lies on the last two essays, talking about studying in the UK and as well as the career post-study plans as well. So what do you think make, for example, the post-study plan stand out? How do you connect those essays? How did you do that when you're writing? You're connecting them to the leadership, to the networking, and of course the study in the UK plan. Because I know the post-study it's more like a summary of everything you've written down and telling them how you were able to bring out those qualities you've had before and how you're going to use them for your future achievements. So how do you do that when you're writing your own essay? Thank you. I'll be asking Boso this time.
Okay, so studying in the UK, I told you from the very get-go that my personal experience, I applied once and I got accepted once. I don't know if I gave the right answers all the time, but I do know that I believed in every word that I shared with them, and I still remember everything that I shared. And I worked on that. When I say I worked on it, I mean I followed through as much as I could. For instance, today, let's just take the example today, when everyone knows that whatever plans we had before COVID is completely disturbed today. By the COVID, the coronavirus. So it doesn't guarantee that what you put on paper is going to come to pass.
Okay.
However, when you believe in it, no matter the circumstances, you're still going to be able to come out with the same ideal that you want to pursue in that field or in that process, whatever it is that you choose to explain. Studying in the UK for me meant a lot because, first of all, I could not afford to study in the UK by myself. Okay. Second, I wanted to have a first-class, high-quality education that I could share not only with the Young Advocates for Human Rights Network upon my return, but also with whatever youth that I come to encounter in the process of returning from Chevening. And studying in the UK also means that you have to give the reasons why you think that what it is that you're studying will benefit your country when you return. Because when you are going to return, understand that you're going to serve your country. Understand that you're going to serve the field of your interest in your country. So what is it that you want to contribute to? What is it that you want to share with the people from your country? And what it is that you want to expand to the rest of the world? And how can Chevening, how studying in the UK could help you with that? Another point is do not forget the cultural aspect of studying in the UK. It's very, very important. I chose Glasgow because it's a very old university. 1451 it was built. I mean, what an honor to be born in the 80s, to grow up and to be able to walk under the same walls as someone like Adam Smith.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Or being able to walk in the same buildings that were built and developed around the time Shakespeare was around. You see what I mean? So to me, that was huge, that was humongous, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go study in the US. The cultural background, it has a beautiful culture. Scotland is, my God, very beautiful. And I could only see it in a dream until you gave me the chance to travel and see it in with my own eyes. You understand? So all that together makes it very interesting for reader to understand, okay, this person wants to go study, but this person is just not going to study 100%. This person is going to share what they take from their country. This person is going to share what they have in their background, and they're willing to take from the UK and take it back home.
Okay.
To me, that's the first question about studying in the UK. Now, post to UK plan, like I said, COVID is an example today. And for me personally, when I returned home, it took me 2 years to recover because I took 1 year to take care of my mother and she passed away. And the next year was for me to take care of myself and stand up emotionally, psychologically in order to pursue. And today I am here trying to resume where I left off, you know? So it's not a straight path. Believe in yourself, believe in your dream, pursue it, and let the people understand what that dream is and how you want to achieve it. No matter the circumstances, you're going to be able to make it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll be asking Wisdom this particular one. I know the post-study plan, Chevening said they want to understand if you have a clear post-study plan, what are your immediate goals, what are your, if you can include even your midterm goals and your long-term goals and all that. So what is it for you when you're writing that particular essay? What advice would you give to people who are writing that particular portion of essay? Wisdom.
All right, thank you so much, John. So let me just quickly say here that every essay in the Chevening essays have their importance. So beginning from the post-study essay said that Chevening is looking for people who have, the study in the UK essay, who have a clear idea of what you want to study in the UK, and then you must explain how this connects to your previous academic or professional experiences and then your plans for the future. Many people do not see that essay as the connector. So you have done a lot of things in the past in terms of academics and professionally, and then you hope to do things in the future. Now, where does the UK come in? Where does Chevening come in? That's the some people will not agree, oh, my university is ranked number 1. Your university is ranked number 1, and so how does that relate to you? So when you're writing that essay, please pay attention to those two aspects I just mentioned. Your previous academic or professional experience. You understand it? Like, for example, I have done my undergraduate research was in this area, and I think this has prepared me for a course in this area. And because of that, because of the course I'll be getting, it will help my ambition to become this thing in the future or to become a lecturer in the future, something like that. You have to be a connector, make use of it very, very importantly in your study in the UK. So just the dwelling on the university alone, my university is ranked this, I have this lecturer. If you have the lecturer ID, and so how does that relate to you and what you want to do? Very important. So let me just jump into your question that you asked me, which is about the study, the career plan. And that's another thing that helped me in the career plan was understanding something that is called the SMART. There's a SMART, there's a SMARTer, but because of Chevening essay is very short, just use the SMART. The SMART is okay. The SMART approach is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Those 5 aspects must be included in all your goals, and I will explain. If your goal must be specific, for example, you don't say, if I come to Nigeria, I will come and work in the health sector. There are many health professionals. You can be a dentist, you can be a doctor, you can be a cleaner in the hospital. You are working in the health sector, if you get what I mean. So you have to be specific to say, okay, if I go, I will because of the masters that I will get in the UK, I will be qualified to work in this hospital as a medical doctor. Now, how does this relate to your study? You might have, when you have written your study in the UK, your study in the UK essay, you must have typed some things down. So you say, okay, based on the module that I've gotten from that, I should be able to do this. That's a study in the UK now. But when you come here now, you now begin to talk about the things that you will do. So you say you become a medical doctor in this hospital or in a hospital. That's the specificity of the goal. You know, how will you measure it? Okay, as a medical doctor, I'll be able to treat 50 patients every month. In this community, for example, why I want to work in this community is that people do not have access to quality health care. I think that the medical doctors there are not completely trained. I'm just giving that example if you want, so you understand what I mean. So my work there will mean that I'll be able to bring quality healthcare treatment to over 50 persons. That's measurable. That's what we call measurable. So achievable, yes, it's achievable because I have a master's degree from the UK now. For example, me now, if I want to talk about my own measure, my achievable, the attainability of my goal, I'll say I have a master's degree, I have a first class degree. Of course, I hope to have a distinction, for example. And then because of that, I think that I'll be qualified to work in this company. This company is the topmost in Nigeria. I'll be qualified to work there because of this. So it means that that goal is achievable. But if you now come and say, I want to bring healthcare to 10,000 people, as a result, I will end sickness in Nigeria. You're on your own. It's not possible. That was not possible. So some people do that. Yeah, some people do that. I will end poverty in Nigeria by the time I come back. How do you want to do that? No, it has to be achievable, like something that people can connect with. Use statistics. So if we talk about the measurability as well, what I normally advise people, there are a lot of ways to measure your goals. One of the ways I advise is what is called the Sustainable Development Goals. If you want to measure your goals, how does it connect to the Sustainable Development Goals? Very important. So pick up a sustainable development. For example, no hunger. I think that's number one. That's SDG 1, right? No hunger. Okay, my goal will be able to help Nigeria because it's not like you are going to end all the hunger. No, it's that if I'm working in this community now, based on the project that I'll be doing, I'll be bringing food to 100 people. 100 people in the community is a lot. I believe that will help Nigeria. If a lot of people do that in various communities, that will help Nigeria attain the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. That's measurability. Another measurable template is what is called the DFID, the Department for International Development. Please, I want to emphasize that if you're writing your essays, link it to what the UK is doing in Nigeria, because these are people that are funding you over £35,000. They want to be sure that you meet their interest. So what helped me in writing the essay was a DFID document that I saw, and I was able to see the goals, the UK goals and intentions for Nigeria. I was able to connect. I know that one of the things that they wanted to do was end poverty, in Nigeria. So, okay, how does my plan, even though my plan is not to end poverty, but how does my plan tie into that goal? If one of their listing is gender equality, now in gender equality, I will now begin to say, okay, based on the work that I'll be doing, how does my plan make a more gender inclusive society? Just think about that. Now, the mistake people do is that when they come to this essay, they now want to say, oh, I want to tie everything down, so I should now begin to lie. Please don't lie in your essay. No, you don't have to. People lie, and that is why they do not scale through. You think that you have written very, but when somebody is reading, they would know. So you should just be able to say that, okay, and that's the point I was trying to make in the leadership essay. I was saying that when you write the leadership essay, write it with the career plan in mind. Write the leadership essay with the career plan. Pick examples, like Boso was saying, pick examples that relate to you. If something relates to you, it means that they relate to what you want to do. So pick something that relates to you. If somebody is a passionate environmental activist now, for example, it means that you might be working in a company and you say, oh, people are littering everywhere, and so I identify that as a problem. That's your leadership. Even though you are not working in an environmental company, you are working in a company where you identify environmental problem and you took leadership in that. That's your leadership. Then you now come to your career plan and you begin to say, I want to solve environmental problems. Somebody will relate and say, yes, this person has done something like this. So that's exactly what I meant when I said that your essays must be connected, that they must connect. They must be able to read all your essays and say, oh, this is what this person is passionate about, and this is how they hope to achieve that. So use this smart approach very, very effectively, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. The time-bound in that part means short-term, like you asked, short-term, mid-term. When I was writing my essays, I divided into short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. So you should be able to divide that. I think that is important because some people want to say short and long-term. Someone wants to see how there will be a link between your short and your long-term. So, and what creates that link is the mid-term goal. So when you write your essay, don't be so overly ambitious. in your short-term goal. No, you don't have to be so ambitious, because many of the things in your short term are not within your control. For example, a lot of people resign their job and go to the UK. When they come back, they say, I want to work in this company. That's not entirely within your control. But you can be able to explain and say, because I will have gained the skills, I will have gotten the qualification, I should be able to work. But in the future, a lot of things are within your control in the future. So you can be ambitious with that. If you want to become the president of Nigeria, please state it. Or you want to become the president of the US, please state it in your long-term goal. Like, because I would have done a lot of work over the time, I would have been popular or something like that. I believe that I must have attained the right profile to become the president in my country, where I'll begin to implement policies in this regard, something like that. So that's exactly how the career plan goal should be written.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful exposition. It was really insightful. I mean, the summary of the whole thing is use the SMART approach when you're writing your career plan and divide it into short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. It must be time-bound. You need to be specific about your goals, and don't be over-ambitious when you're writing the short-term goals. You can't be ambitious when you're writing the long-term goals. You're very free to do that, but of course, try to explain that in a more clear term so that the people who are reading your essays will understand. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, and of course, that's obviously where we are going to draw the curtain this evening. But before we go, I would like to, each of you, I don't know, Bose, if you can give us, one last advice to all the Chevening applicants. What do you think they should do differently from what they are doing now? And what do you think they should do going forward from this webinar? Thank you.
Wisdom, should I let you go first?
Yeah, sure.
You mean I should go first, right?
Yeah. I'm letting you go first. Yes.
Don't lie, because if you lie, you'll be putting yourself in a bad place. You're putting yourself in harm's way. So just be true and then stick to yourself. It's not because you want to win Chevening that you begin to lie and double up and down. No. Just be true, be concise, be clear. I wanted to say something else about that. Okay, just to point out again that the Chevening Scholarship is not meant for accomplished people. I think I really need to emphasize this, because I've heard a lot of people have profile. That's the reason why. See, let me tell you, if you're applying for the Chevening Scholarship and you look at the profile of people who have won it, you would still feel like you are not qualified for it. So no, you don't have to focus on what people are saying or what people that have won it have done. No, you can. It's just about telling your story and telling it in the right way, like telling your story. That's why you don't have to go and look at templates of people that have written essays in the past and begin to follow their template. No, some templates might not directly relate to you. So tell your stories, tell it in the right way. You might have been a cleaner in the workplace, in your environment, and do that cleaning. You saw that people were not taking the job seriously, and you felt the need to solve a problem. Please state it, state it. Now, another mistake people do is you want the assessors to pity you. I was reading, like Boso mentioned about her mom who was sick by the time she was applying. Some people would have written and said, "Oh, my mom was very sick. I don't have money to treat her." Those kind of things. No, Chevening is not looking for. They are not a charity organization. They are not looking for people to help, to give charity support. No, they are looking for leaders. So you don't have to begin to tell your story. Oh, I come from a very poor community. No, I'm very serious with this one, because I've seen those essays. I've reviewed a lot of essays and I've seen those essays. I come from a very poor community. I'm the only one that went to school in my house. Those kind of things. Yeah, that's not what they're looking for. But it's not like you cannot tell that story. That's the mistake people make. It's not like you cannot tell. You can tell it, but tell it in terms of how that inspired you to do what you did. It sits better. And we say, please give me the award. And you understand what I mean? So that's a lot of things to say in my final word, but I hope that it makes sense to a lot of people. I want to say that I wish everyone watching this video the very, very best in the application, and I hope that, of course, it's very, very competitive across the world. The acceptance rate is 1.5%, and it's good. The acceptance rate goes slimmer every other year. Every year it goes slimmer. So I just want to wish you the best, but please take the application very, very seriously, and hopefully you'll be on this part by the time we are recording the video next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Wisdom. Yeah. Boso, any word from you?
Listen, Wisdom said something that is very important, which I think is quite unfortunate to bring up if we want to go to such high level competition, and that is cheating. It's not cheating about your grades. This is cheating about your personality. And people need to understand that if you cheat about your personality, someday that will come back and bite you. So don't lie about who you are. Share what you have, share what you believe in, and share where you want to go. And do not be afraid to try again. If you apply for Chevening once and you're not accepted, try again, again, until you are accepted or until you find something more fulfilling for your own life. So
Okay.
that is important. And that's the last word I would like to share with you. And thank you so much for this great opportunity to share. Like I said, it's not a straight line.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you so
scholar
much.
is not a straight line person.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Boso. Thank you, Wisdom. I really appreciate having you guys here. And before you guys go, I know so many people have been asking questions on the group about whether you guys are available for reviewing essays or something related to Chevening, or if they can get your emails to ask some personal questions when they find it difficult to at least address to one certain essay of the question. So I don't know if you guys, if that is allowed, or what do you have to say about that in terms of helping them with the essay reviews and the rest?
Sure, I would not mind at all. If it's related to human rights, anything related to human rights, to social work, even English, I'm ready to share and help. Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Boso. What about your Wisdom?
Yeah,
I've
of
heard
course.
you say essay reviews and all that. So, are you open to helping
Yeah, of
out?
course, I'm open. I'm open if the numbers is not many, because I have a lot of it on my hand right now. So let's just see
So
how many we can get. Yeah.
How many people are you to review their essays within this time frame we have right now?
Just contact me about them. Let me not put a specific number out here so that I don't
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this is where we draw the curtain, guys. Thank you, Wisdom. Thank you, Boso. Thank you, everyone who have participated in this webinar. It's really an insightful one, and we look forward to having more of these sections on other scholarship applications. And we wish you all the best in your applications, and we hope that you will be part of the 1.5% to go on to win the Chevening Scholarship. All the best, guys. We wish you all the best, and have a lovely good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye now.